Hey everybody, my name is Samuel Serah, and I work with the Department of Animal Breeding and Genetics, Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, Ogun State in Nigeria. My area of specialization is livestock genetics and biotechnology, and my area of interest is behavioral genetics. I've been working on welfare and behavior of turkeys and chickens since 2019. I work on behaviors that are related to fear, aggression, play, comfort, and other related behaviors in turkeys and chickens. So I want to welcome everybody to Animal Welfare Group Nigeria with the acronym AWGN. So AWGN is Animal Welfare Group Nigeria. AWGN was funded in 2019 after a gathering of students and lecturers from the College of Animal Science and Livestock Production, College of Veterinary Medicine, and Department of Aquaculture and Fisheries Management. And the missions of AWGN are: one, to increase awareness on animal behavior and welfare in Nigeria, Africa, and the world at large. Number two is that we are trying to foster collaboration and networking among researchers in the field of animal behavior and welfare. And number three is that we are trying to educate the public on the importance of animal welfare. We meet every first and third Wednesdays to discuss issues that are related to animal welfare and behavior. And people from different parts of the world, we meet and discuss issues that are related to ethical practices, slaughtering, fear, stress, cognition, neuroscience, vocalization, archery practices, fish welfare in animals like livestock, wildlife, and aquaculture. So far, 4 scientists have presented this year, and today's presentation will be the 5th in the 2022 series. Today's presenter is Dr. Oluwaseun Iyasere from the Department of Animal Physiology, Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, Ogun State, Nigeria. She's also a von Humboldt Fellow at Humboldt University, Berlin in Germany. Dr. Iyasere will be talking on why the bias. What about rooster behavior? Today's moderator is Dr. Yebanji from the Department of Environmental Management and Toxicology, Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, Nigeria. I would love to hand over to Dr. Yebanji. Dr. Yebanji, can you please unmute yourself? Dr. Yebanji, okay, over to you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Serah. I welcome everyone for this program today, and I will be reading the biography of our presenter for today, Dr. Iyasere Oluwaseun Serah. Dr. Oluwaseun Serah Iyasere obtained her first and second degree from Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, Nigeria, Pune. She obtained her PhD from Newcastle University, United Kingdom in 2014. She's a specialist in animal behavior and welfare and a senior lecturer in the Department of Animal Physiology, where she teaches courses in comparative animal behavior, environmental physiology, digestive physiology, introduction to endocrinology, ethics in animal physiology research, and animal welfare. She is the university's Federation for Animal Welfare U4 link person in Trinidad. Dr. Oluwaseun Serah Iyasere belongs to several professional bodies, both at international and local levels, such as University Federation for Animal Welfare U4, International Society for Applied Ethology, Animal Welfare Research Network UK, and World Poultry Science Association Nigerian branch. She's an editorial advisory board member of Applied Animal Behavior Science Journal. She's a joint regional secretary of the Australasia Africa ISAE region. She is the coordinator of the Animal Welfare Group Nigeria, AWGN, and one of the staff advisors of the Animal Welfare Student Club, FUNAB. She is the first animal welfare officer in Africa certified by Cloverleaf Animal Welfare Systems in USA. She has 45 journal articles and 29 referred conference proceedings to her credit. Her research interest is in farm animal behavior and welfare, especially in chickens and goats. Some of her research work in progress revolves around maternal care in chickens. Dr. Oluwaseun Serah Iyasere has won several travel and research grants, such as TEDFund Research Grant in 2018, UFO Travel Grant in 2019, Developing Congress Attendance Fellowship, DCCAF Award winner in 2019 and 2021. In 2021, Dr. Oluwaseun Serah Iyasere was awarded the prestigious Georg Forster Research Fellow for experienced researchers, sponsored by the Alexander von Humboldt Foundation. Ladies and gentlemen, presenting to you our presenter for today, Dr. Iyasere Oluwaseun Serah. Please, as you are entering and joining the link, mute your microphones, turn off your videos, and you are free to type in your questions in the chat box. After our presentation, there will be time for Q&A. Thank you. You're welcome. Enjoy a beautiful presentation from our presenter. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the wonderful introduction. Thank you, the host for today, Dr. Samuel Dorosharo, and also the moderator, Dr. Oyebanji Fumilola. Good day, everyone, and welcome to today's meeting. My name is Iyasere Oluwaseun Serah, and I'll be talking about why the bias, what about rooster behavior. I know most of you would have known me as a poultry expert that normally talks about maternal behavior. So I got the name, the mother hen, from a colleague. He refers to me as the mother hen. But today I'll be talking about the rooster or the cock behavior. In the egg industry, we all know that the day-old male chicken is referred to as an unwanted byproduct, and they are being, because they cannot lay and also they cannot be consumed for meat. So immediately after sexing, at the first day of hatching, they are being killed. The indigenous chicken, they make 80% of the 120 million poultry birds reared in the rural parts of Nigeria. So that means they are mostly found in the rural areas. These chickens are kept by the rural dwellers mostly for protein and also for income. And at times, there are some religious societies that make use of the indigenous chicken for the sacrifices. And mostly, they make use of the meal. And at times, they even specify the type of color. Maybe you need to use a pure white cock for this sacrifice, and it goes at a premium price. In a survey that was done in one state in Nigeria, it was observed that the mean flock size of the Nigeria indigenous chickens kept by an household was about 13.9, which gives a mating ratio of like 1 to 3.4. Before the year 2020, reports on the standard mating ratio for the Nigerian indigenous chickens was unknown, and people mostly refer to the mating ratio for the heavy breeds, your 1 cock to 8 to 10 hens, or the light breed, which is 1 cock to 10 to 15 hens in the layers line. But we had no clue what the standard mating ratio was for the Nigerian indigenous chickens. Though if you see them in the extensive system where they scavenge here and there, you see that they tend to mate with almost all the hens that they come across. So today I'm going to group this talk into one: the sexual behavior, and also dominance and vocalization in the rooster or the cock. So we had this paper published, which is about the behavior and reproductive performance of the Nigerian native chicken subjected to different mating ratio for a short term. We had a lot of things which we did. We looked at the behavior of the cock. We looked at the semen quality. We looked at the level of stress. And the whole idea was like, if we look at the different mating ratio that was used, maybe we'll be able to recommend a standard mating ratio for the Nigerian indigenous chicken. But for today's presentation, I'll just want to draw our attention to the result on the sexual behavior of the cock. So what did we do? We had the experiment layout in a crossover design, and we worked with just three mating ratios, which is 1 cock to 3 hen, 1 cock to 6 hen, and 1 cock to 9 hen. Each rooster spent only 2 weeks in a particular mating ratio. And at the end of that 2 weeks, we looked at the semen quality. But during that 2-week period, when it was in that mating ratio, we recorded the behavior of the cock in the morning and in the evening. So the layout of the experiment is like this. So if at the beginning of the study, a cock was assigned to 3 hens, and it stayed there for 2 weeks, then what it means is that after 2 weeks, we just move this cock to the next set, which is to 6 hens, and we keep moving, the cock to the next treatment. So at the end of the 6 weeks, all the cock experienced the 3 mating ratio treatments. So what did we find out in terms of the sexual behavior? Although we expected that the cocks that had the higher number of hens would tend to exhibit a higher level of sexual behavior because they have more female in their pen. However, the result was different, and we saw that there was no significant effect of mating ratio on the sexual behavior of the Nigerian indigenous cocks. The table here is a mean rank because the data we got they did not satisfy normal distribution, so we had to subject them to a non-parametric test, the Kruskal-Wallis test, and that is why you have the values the way they are. So what we could see here was that there was no significant effect, irrespective of the number of hens in the pen, the number of approaches to the hen, the wild scene, the number of attempted mating, and the number of successful mating were similar over the 3 mating ratio that we tested in this experiment. So what can we deduce from this? Probably the rooster behavior had to do with some preferred hen. Could it be that despite the fact that a particular hen may have like 9, a particular cock may have 9 hens, does that mean that the cock will mate with the 9 hens, or does it have some preferred hens? Based on some personal observation in this work, we observed some cock hen preference behavior. And what do I mean by that? We observed that the cock escorts this preferred hen to her nesting site, stands at the entrance until she finishes laying and comes out of the next box. But although we did not really get to know whether this cock, does it do this preference behavior to all the hens in his pen, or just to a few set of them which he thinks are his choice. So the reason why we observe these cock hen preference is yet to be known. However, I have this belief that could it be due to the fact that the cock is showing preference to a female, maybe the dominant female in the pen, or to the one based on the plumage color that he prefers? The reason is yet to be known, and we think in the future we're trying to ravel what happens, or the reason behind the cock hen preference behavior. It's very, very interesting, and we would like to investigate that in future. So the second experiment that we did on cock, because we know that a lot of people in Nigeria believe that these native chickens are hardy and are able to withstand hardship, maybe harsh environmental conditions, and they are able to survive on little or nothing because they believe they can scavenge for themselves, look for food to eat, and take care of themselves. Little attention is being given to them. However, I believe that irrespective of whatever level of hardiness that the animal may be, there is going to be a breaking point or a threshold where the animals might likely begin to show signs of stress. So we wanted to see if we could induce stress in the cock by using exogenous corticosterone. Several reports have, several experiments have talked about the use of exogenous corticosterone in the hens, but we want to know how does it impact the testicular function and also the mating behavior of the Nigerian indigenous cock. So this paper also has been published, one of the reports, and it was sponsored by the TED Fund, Tertiary Education Trust Fund of Nigeria, and we appreciate them for that. But I will just want to bring to our attention the result we found based on the mating behavior and some semen quality characteristics. So in this study, we tried to simulate stress by using exogenous corticosterone, and we had the cocks divided randomly into 4 treatments. The 0 is the control, and we're giving just distilled water, while we had those that had 2, 4, and 6 milligram exogenous cut per kg body weight. And they were given this cut administration for 2 weeks daily, and per day, we divided the dose into 2. So they had half of the dose in the morning and the second half in the evening. And immediately after giving them the dose, we started observing their behavior in terms of the number of waltzing, the attempted mating, and successful mating. We wanted to see if those the level of stress based on the dosage of the cut would either suppress the mating behavior of the Nigerian indigenous cocks. Though the treatment, a cut treatment lasted for 2 weeks. However, the behavioral result and data that we have here is a representative of what happened only in the first week. We'd had issues with the data from the second week, some technical issues. So here I present the influence of exogenous corticosterone on the mating behavior of the Nigerian indigenous cocks. And the first one, which is the waltzing, based on the data type, it was analyzed using non-parametric, so it's a mean rank value, while the attempted mating and successful mating here shows a parametric analysis, the mean and the standard error. So here also we found no significant effect of the exogenous cut on the sexual behavior of the Nigerian indigenous chickens. Based on studies on animal welfare, we believe that the behavior of an animal is the first thing that changes, that can tell us about what is happening to the animal. If there is a change in the environment, we believe based on the behavior, if this bird panting, we can easily deduce any physiological changes from the animal. However, what we observed here was that though the exogenous cut had no effect on the sexual behavior of these cocks, but we found out that from the semen samples that were collected, there were significant depression in the quality of the semen. So it shows that the exogenous cut treatment actually worked, and we saw significant decline in the quality of the semen, but this has not yet reflected in the behavior of the cock. That means the cock was still exhibiting its normal behavior in terms of mating attempt and successful mating, but there is it's something happening, a depression in the quality of the semen that they are being producing, that they are producing. So I think probably it may take a longer time for us to see a significant change in the sexual behavior of the cock based on the level of stress, which we don't know. But at the end of the 2 weeks, we took some hormones for analysis, especially testosterone, and we know that testosterone is related to the sexual behavior of this cock, but still there was no significant effect of cut on this testosterone level. So does that mean even after 2 weeks, don't forget, I mentioned that we were not able to get the data due to some technical issues on the hard drive for the second week. But if we want to deduce something from the level of testosterone, we could probably induce that even after 2 weeks, there may be still no significant effect of this coach treatment on the sexual behavior, because there was no change in the testosterone level based on different level of coach that was administered. So these are the two results that we have on sexual behavior of the Nigerian indigenous cocks. And like I said, we'll be talking about dominance. We know that the cocks, they play a significant role because they tend to be the provider and also to protect their flocks. So cockfighting is one of the oldest sports that have been reported, and I think there are some countries that still do cockfighting. Though it's a bloody sport, it involves inflicting injury on the recipient, and this is a big welfare issue. However, the dominant-subordinate relationship is being established through agonistic interactions, which we can't do anything about. And this agonistic interaction is not only in the chickens, it's like mostly in the animal world. They tend to fight to establish dominance. So we know the boss and we know the subordinate. The duration of fight, from my personal observation, is that it depends, it varies. There are some times when you see this cock, when you introduce them to themselves, at times within a short time, they are done, and the subordinate admits and life goes on. But at times it takes a very long time for them to establish dominance. But what are the physiological responses that are associated with this during the time that dominance is being established? So one of my undergraduate students, Harrison Edentally, was interested in this, and he tried to pair some cocks, and we looked at the heart rate of the cock before and after the fight, and also the duration. We fixed the duration of 15 minutes, and we took the heart rate of each cock before the fight. And once we noticed that the dominance has been established, we also took the heart rate of the cocks. And we found a significant correlation here that links the duration of fight to the change in heart rate. And what does this mean? It means that the longer the duration of fight, while establishing dominance, the higher the heart rate changes, which is an indicator of the autonomic nervous system. So, and we also know that the autonomic nervous system is one of the means by which we can assess the level of stress in animals. And this tells us that during the period of establishing some social dominance, there's a level of stress that goes along with it. So with this, probably we'll be able to discourage those that use this the cock for cockfighting exercise, to let them know that it's been stressful, it's a stressful procedure, is a stressful sport, and the welfare of the cock that are being involved is being compromised. So cock crow. This picture is one of the Nigerian indigenous cock that we have on our research site, crowing, and you can see, the big wide open and the stretching of the neck and trying to bring out the sound. Though I'm not a musician, but I can try to, when they try to bring out the sound from inside and the stress that they go through. But we'll talk a bit about cockcrow and some preliminary observations that we have been able to do using the Nigerian indigenous cocks. Crowing is considered the most important vocalization of the cock, and the dominant cock announces the break of the day, followed by the subordinate according to the social rank. They don't crow together. The first one crows. When it stops, it's next in the order, and it goes that way. And the frequency of crowing is seasonally dependent. It is more in the breeding season than in the non-breeding season. And crowing is associated to the androgen, the level of androgen, and also it is energy consuming. So you can see, the cock trying to strain, to bring out the sound from, inside and to make the crow. So definitely there's no way we're going to talk about chickens that will not be talk about their parents, the ancestors, which is the red jungle fowl. And we have 4, species of the jungle fowls. We have the red jungle fowl, Mostly, we're used to the red jungle fowl. We have the Ceylon jungle fowl, we have the green jungle fowl, and the green jungle fowl. And studies have shown us that the crow of the cock is species dependent. There are species differences in the cock crow. So I want you to just listen to the different cock crows, and then we continue with the presentation. So the cock crow, like I said, are species specific in the jungle fowl. And this figure, it's from an Asian publication that's by Colliers, 1987. As far back as 1987, tried to, check the differences in the cock crow of these 4 species of the jungle fowl. And he found out that the red jungle fowl exert more energy on the 3rd note, which is cock-a-doodle. So more emphasis is being laid on the 3rd note. For the gray jungle fowl, it exerts more energy on the 2nd note. That is cook-kaya, cook. So, but these two, the red jungle fowl and the gray jungle fowl, have 4 notes in their crow. It's made up of 4 notes. But what do we have for the Celians? The Celians have just 3 notes, not 4 notes. And there is a long interval between the 1st and the 2nd note. That is the cook-kaya, kaya. There is a difference, a long interval between the 1st and the 2nd note, and it only has 3 notes. And lastly, the green jungle fowl has just 2 notes. Chukao cock. You saw, from the recording, and the pitch of its call is higher than the other 3 range jungle fowl. So what we did, we had a preliminary study where we looked at the crow characteristics of 3. We picked just 3 of 3 Nigerian indigenous cocks in order of social dominance. We've been observing them for some time, and we noted the one which crows first, then which one crows next, and next. So we try to record the crow of each of these cocks 3 different times, and we analyzed the crow characteristics, and we were able to get some spectrogram analysis. So at this point, I want to appreciate Dr. Petra Taylor. I know she's part of this meeting, for helping us to get this spectrogram analysis in her lab. So this is the first cock, which we think is the dominant because it's the one that crows first. But there is this spectrogram shows like the notes, like the kukuruku, which is 4 notes. We can see here that for this particular cock, which we refer to as the dominant here, has just 3 syllables or notes in its crow. It doesn't have 4 notes. It has three notes in its crow, and it is consistent because this is the first time. The first day we picked the crow, another day the same cock, and we recorded the crow, and the 3rd day. So for the 3 time periods where we recorded the calls for this particular cock, it was consistent in having 3 notes in its crow. And don't forget that for the 3 notes, I think it's the Celian that has the 3 notes. So here is the 2nd crow that crows after the 1st one. And also we recorded the crow 3 different days, but the days in which we recorded for the 3 of them was the same day. So, but here we noticed that there's some level of inconsistency. The first crow had 4 notes. The 2nd crow, we were able to get 3 notes. And in the 3rd crow, we were able to get 4 notes. And for the 3rd cock, we had 3 notes, 2 notes, and 2 notes. I'll show that in a table. Yeah. So this is the vocal characteristics of the crow of 3 Nigerian indigenous cocks that we picked, and in the order in which they crow. And we'll see here that the first crow was consistent. The first cock was consistent, having 3 notes. We refer to it as syllables here, having 3 syllables, yeah, and it's consistent over time. And here, the duration, it's longer at the third syllable. While the 2nd cock, we could see it had 4 syllables in the first one, 3 syllables, and 4 syllables. some level of inconsistency here. And for the third cock, we had 3 syllables. For the first crow, 2 syllables and 2 syllables. Also some level of inconsistency. However, what we are able to see here is that each of these cocks still had the 3-syllable crow. Whether it is for the 3 times or just once, they still had 3 syllable each of them. But only one, which is the second cock, had only the 4 syllable, and also the third cock had only the 2 syllable. So does that mean that the variation in the cock crow, does it have to do with the source, the origin of the Nigerian indigenous chickens? Can we really, these are questions that, you know, have been coming to mind after I looked at this, which we are yet to unravel. And we are yet to know, probably we could use the cock crow to try to identify the origin of the Nigerian indigenous cock. There could be the possibility that we have a mixed, you know, of all these 4 species of the red jungle fowl being a mixed in the Nigerian indigenous chicken based on this result. So, and also don't forget that the cock also provides protection for its flock because it is the head. So when there is any form of danger, it gives the alarm call, you know, alerting its members, trying to make them know that there is danger, you know, be prepared for danger or the means of escape. And we also recorded the alarm call 2 different times. And what's the striking thing about this is that the number of syllables for the alarm call is 8 syllables. Don't forget the crow, it's maximum at least 4 notes, but the alarm call is 8 syllables. And it was consistent for the 2 periods in which we recorded the crow. And the longest duration and also the maximum peak of frequency was found on the 8th syllable of the call. So there could probably, the reason why the alarm call seemed to be a bit consistent could be that danger is very, very important. And animals must be able to escape when there is danger. Chickens are prey animals, and they need to be able to pass the information in the right way so that the recipient will be able to understand what the crow is about and to take the necessary action to escape danger. That could be the possibility why we have this number of syllables. However, I think reports have shown that the alarm call to tend to be functionally referential. That means in the call, the sender of the call also gives an information about the type of predator, whether it's a ground predator or an aerial predator. And within this call, it tends to communicate that message to the receiver. So they know the type of behavioral means or the type of behavior to adopt in order to escape, whether to crouch or whether to run or whether to fly, depending on the message that has been passed through the call from the sender to the signaler. So these are quite interesting things that I think I may want to pursue further to know under different predator types, how does this vocalization, if it varies or not, just to be able to confirm whether, you know, the alarm call is functionally preferential, has been said by previous authors. So in conclusion, from all that we have been able to do, research on Nigerian indigenous cock rooster behavior is still scanty. There's a lot that we need to know. There's a lot that we need to investigate. And at the moment, a mating ratio of up to 1 cock to 9 hens had no influence on the sexual behavior. So we can, I think, recommend 1 to 9 at the moment for the Nigerian indigenous chickens in terms of mating ratio. And exogenous corticosterone administration up to 6 milligrams per kilogram body weight for 1 week had no influence on the sexual behavior of the cock. However, we found some depreciation in the semen quality. So the longer the duration to establish social dominance, the higher the heartbeat, and, you know, talks about the stress involved in the fighting period. And crow vocalization characteristics of Nigerian indigenous show wide variability and may be used, to trace their origin. So special thanks to my research team members, Dr. Samuel Durosharo, Dr. Weto Matthew, Professor Daramola, Victor Yenero, and Mrs. Miriam Loguleko, all at the Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, Nigeria. And special appreciation to my external collaborator, Dr. Peter Taylor, from the University of New England, Australia. Thank you so much for listening, and happy to take questions.
Thank you so much, Dr. Iyasere, for that beautiful presentation. In fact, I was wow. I imagine working on mating ratio and even the crowing, although many people and myself, we didn't hear the sound of the crowing from those, yes. So okay. I think maybe the host will handle that. There's a request that maybe we'll send the video or the audio after the program. Now, I have quite a number of questions, and I'm sure that you are ready to answer. Now, when you were presenting, I was imagining if you use different rooster for that mating ratio. Was it the same rooster that you used all the time, or you had 3 or 4 rooster chickens?
No, we had 9. We had nine okay. Roosters. So for each mating ratio, let's say for 1 to 3, we started with 3 replicates, 1 to 3 replicates. So making 3 roosters for 1 to 3 that started, and 3 roosters in another set of 1 to 6 and 3. So they rotated, So in total, we had 9 roosters.
Okay, thank you. And while you were giving us the sound, although I didn't hear your own sound, but I heard one rooster chicken crowing outside my house. So I imagine I checked the time. I said, oh, maybe he's telling me the time. What informs that crowing? Sometimes you expect that they crow in the morning. Sometimes you hear them in the afternoon. Sometimes in the evening. What normally informs the crowing?
I think crowing has to do with time of the day. It also, yes, and it also has to do with telling a protection of the territory. So when they crow, they're trying to tell other cocks that, no, this is my territory. So you dare not pass the boundary. So, and it also have to do with the time of the day. However, that's quite an interesting thing that I've been thinking about. There could be the possibility that when it's morning, afternoon, and evening, there could be some variation in the crow quality or characteristics, which is one of the things that we are trying to investigate.
Thank you very much. And from Oyetoro Blessing, she's asking, what is the importance of keeping rooster chicken in large-scale farming, considering the fact that the exotic breeds of chicken mature faster than indigenous breeds?
It depends on what you're actually looking for. If you're looking for fast growth rate, definitely you go for the exotic. But a lot of people don't like, I've met some people that don't really like the exotic chicken meat because it's too soft, not as tasty as the indigenous ones, and the taste you get from the native chicken is different from the exotic ones. And I think based on some health issues, there are some recommendations to people not to eat the native ones instead of the exotic ones.
Thank you very much for your response. There is this question from Dr. Samuel Durosharo. He's asking, how do we discourage people that are still using animals to do the fighting competition? They use ram, they use chicken. How do we fight it? How do we stop them from doing that?
Yeah, like I said, I think we need to make some have some evidence to show them that this activity is quite stressful to the animal. Like the one we did on the cock, if it was not a cock fight really, but because definitely it is a time when they need to establish that social dominance, of which they will fight naturally. There's nothing you can, except you don't put two of them together. So we were not into cockfighting, but we wanted to see how establishing social dominance has to do with, changes in the heart rate. So I think we need to give them more evidence. Okay, look at, after a cockfight, let's look at the two cocks that fought, look at the body and try to look at the damages, the bruises, and with that, we'll be able to explain to them that these animals, despite the fact that you are using them for this sporting exercise, the subordinate or the recipient will definitely going to feel a lot of pain even after the exercise. So we need some evidence, to be able to present to those that are involved in such activities, to let them know that, so we humans that are watching them fight, we may be happy, excited, but the animals that are involved in this activity are not happy about it. So we need to let them, find scientific evidence to back it up. Present.
Thank you very much. Another question from Dr. Samuel Serah is asking if we can determine the age of cock based on their crowing.
Oh, that's quite an interesting one. I want to believe that ontogeny will have something to do with the crow characteristics. I have that belief. It's quite an interesting one. Though I will make reference to a particular case study that I observed. At some point, I had some young chicks at home, and I just somewhere in one room in my apartment there. So, and what I noticed that they were just 1 month old, but there was a morning I woke up very early and I was hearing, what is happening? It's something, maybe is there a predator or is something happening to these chickens where I kept them? So I checked and I saw that there was a particular one that was, it was crowing. So it was not an attack. Even at that 1 month, I said, this is this, it's a rare thing for you to see such a behavior in a 1 month old cockerel. Will I call it cockerel now? Yeah, growing male. So it was making that sound even right from 1 month old, though I was not able to trace it, later on as it progressed, because I never had any idea about going into cock crowing at that time. So it's what's invested.
Okay, thank you very much. I would like to match these two questions. One from Oyeto Blessing and the other one from Barnabas. They are both talking about the crowing quality. One is asking if the crowing can determine sexual maturity, and the other is asking if the crowing can actually tell us something about a welfare problem. Maybe the quality of the crowing might be able to tell us if the animal is going through some welfare stress or something. What do you see there?
Yeah, like I said, all we have now is a preliminary study based on this, and I purposely wanted to present it, to everybody, so we can have an idea of things that we can actually look into later in future studies. As regarding using crow for sexual maturity, there could be the possibility that there is a difference in the crow characteristics if there is in terms of age and also sexual development. It's like somebody growing, you tend to rehearse till you get to the stage where you are perfect and things like that. So, but using the crow to say something about welfare level, whether the animal is in a good condition or not, I have not read anything about that, but I know there are other vocalizations that the chickens use to communicate displeasure or distress. Don't forget, the chicken have up to like 24, if not more, types of vocalization. So this is just one of them.
Okay, thank you very much. The questions are still coming in. From Adekunle Shoronke, he's asking that did you consider your recording the crow at different periods of the day?
We have not checked different period. I said that earlier that we'll also be interested in that, but we just recorded at the same, time from different cocks, and we repeated it 3 different days to see if there was any form of consistency or not. So there's a whole lot that we have, to investigate in terms of this crow characteristics.
Thank you.
And another thing another thing that I may also look, if you, from the table I showed, we had 3 cocks. The first one was consistent in having 3 syllables. And I looked at that cock. Well, maybe could it be to the fact that it was a naked neck cock? At that time, we were not specific about genotype. We just looked within our flock and just picked the 3, dominant cocks and recorded. So could it be that it's a naked neck cock and does a naked neck gene? And how related is the naked neck to the Celion red jungle fowl? We are yet to know that. But I want to say something, because the second cock, which had 434, 4 notes or 4 syllable, it's close to the red jungle fowl. Red jungle fowl and gray jungle fowl have 4 notes close to the. And a study by Serah et al., I'm not sure if it's 2019, using other genetic analysis, was able to show that the normal feather Nigerian indigenous is closer, or is the closest to the red jungle fowl. And it is in this normal feather, we were able to get that 4 notes of 4 syllable crow, which is similar to what the red jungle fowl crow is. So we're thinking we could also use crow, to try to trace the origin of these chickens.
So that is very interesting, because we are moving, in fact, very close to the next question. And from Dr. Serah, is a bit skeptical about us trying to look at the crowing with trying to look at the origin of each of those rooster chickens. Now, he says he's asking if Collier et al. Use purebred chickens. Do you take that?
I can't really see anything about that. I may need to check the paper properly. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much for that. Another question from David Edachi, saying, from your study in 2020, what will be the ideal cock to hen ratio, the mating ratio?
Yeah, we'll recommend the 1 cock to 9 hens.
Okay, thank you very much. This one from Dr. Serah. When are you publishing the vocalization research? Says it's an interesting one and it's unique. So he's waiting for the publication.
Yeah. If I still have the opportunity, I would still like to play that sound for you guys, to have a feel of it. But this is a preliminary study, and I will be publishing it, though I was invited to submit a review on Nigerian indigenous chicken behavior and cognition, and I added, this bit of this preliminary study to the paper, and at the moment we're expecting the reviewers' comments. So hopefully very soon it will be out.
Thank you very much. This next question is from Oluwaseun Ezekiel. He's asking, how can one differentiate between the crowing and the alarm call?
Oh, it's very, very different. The alarm call, it takes 8 syllables. It's, but the cockroach is normal cuckoo. It's glaring, and you can easily differentiate it.
Okay, thank you. Victor Oyeniran is asking if he said there's some rooster chicken, they crow after mating. He's asking if this could also denote dominance.
Oh my goodness. Crow after mating. Oh. So what I know after mating, like post-copulatory behavior in chicken, is that, the hen shakes, tries to, rearrange her feathers, she shakes at times. once in a while, the cock as well shakes. And for crowing after sexual, having mating, successful mating, probably it's an indicator of, could say something about maybe satisfaction, or trying to tell other cock that I'm the one reigning, or, I own her, or something like that. That's what I can deduce. I may be wrong, I don't know, but that's what I think.
Thank you. More questions. This one is from Oluyinka. Is asking, does the administration of ECOT, the hormonal stressor, not compromise the welfare of the cock? Knowing fully well that it's a form of induction, I think.
Yes, it can, but there are times we need to conduct some experiment to know what really happens. And you have to simulate it, to know what really happens. Otherwise, we won't have an idea of what happens naturally. And at times, if you don't simulate using some exogenous substances, you may not be able to quantify the level of stress that could cause such a effect. So if you say, okay, let me just subject them to a natural stressor, which is good and non-invasive, but you may not be able to quantify the level of that stress and what it's the effect that you're getting.
If in case it happens in reality.
Yes, in reality. We are trying to see what happens in reality using, exogenous or a simulation experiment.
Okay, thank you very much. And I think one we just need to get, there's this certificate that you just need to get.
Yes, the ethical approval. Yes, ethical approval.
If it's gotten, I think we are fine. Thank you. Thank you. I think that's all the questions. Okay, there is one coming from Kolade Oliyide. He's asking, he's saying that it will be interesting to know later if the crow scares off predators in any way, or probably give some confidence to the flock and help reduce fear, especially after exposure to predators. I think that is just a comment.
The crow is not made. The crow is not made during. Maybe I would also want. I will also want Peter, if you can give her the opportunity to talk later. Peter, I would like you to say something later. Please just hold on and don't leave. The crow is not made in presence of any predator. It is the alarm call that is made at that time. The crow is made at a completely different time. Completely different time. So if you don't mind, I want people to just have a feel of the crow, Can you give me the opportunity to try to share it once again, please?
Okay.
Yeah, you can do that.
Please let me try. I would love you guys to. So share sound, optimize video clip.
Please don't forget to share the sound.
Yeah, that's what I want to do.
Okay.
Okay. So can you see the slide now, please? Can you see the slide?
Yes, we can.
So please let me know if you can get the sound.
Okay. Okay.
So the next one is the green jungle fowl.
This one does not have sound.
Oh, sorry. Oh.
No sound.
Oh.
I think what we can do is this, Dr. Iyasere.
Okay.
We are going to send the sound to the participants so that they can hear it very well after the presentation. I've promised them that, so we have to do that for them.
Okay, no problem.
Okay.
So maybe you want Peter to.
But some people got all the sounds.
Oh, good.
Yeah, some people got it. Victor got it. Dr. Fumilola Ibanji got it. Peter got it. So Peter, are you there?
Maybe Peter to say something.
Are you please unmute yourself, Peter?
Unmute her, please.
Yeah.
Good evening, everyone.
Hello. Thank you for joining.
What a great presentation. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for helping us.
It's definitely the start of a journey, isn't it? There's so many more questions, which is really exciting.
Yep. So there's a whole lot yet to be known or discovered as related to this vocalization in the native chickens.
Yeah, the fascinating questions that have come from the chat this afternoon, or this evening for my time, have been wonderful. And I've been busy writing ideas for you to look at this, because they're such fascinating observations, but to try and maybe have some interventions about looking at challenging dominance and how their crows may change over time. It's really interesting.
Yeah. Thank you.
So
thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Peter. Thank you. I think the most important thing is to get the work published. It's so unique, and it's going to be first of its kind for Nigerian indigenous chickens. And we don't see more of people working on crowing. I think I've only read 2 papers on crowing. So this will be the 3rd one I'll be listening to, or I'll be hearing about, or I'll be reading about. So I think the team should work very fast and get it published in a very good journal outlet. So everybody would love it. So thank you very much, Dr. Iyasere, for the presentation. And this is a very good one, talking about something that is very unique. You know, we are used to aggression, fear, pain, and some other things. But when you hear about vocalization, you want to listen, because this is a form of bioacoustics, and it is what we listen to every day, but we don't usually pay attention to. So I want to thank everyone for participating in today's presentation. And we are so grateful to have everybody in the meeting today. And we hope to see these great people in our subsequent presentation. We have around 35 people that participated today, and we have a few announcements. You can join us on Facebook and LinkedIn. Our LinkedIn and Facebook name is Animal Welfare Group Nigeria. Just join us, and you are going to have a lot of information on animal welfare, animal behavior, and contemporary issues. Then our Twitter handle is at AWGM14, AWGN in capital letter and 14 in number. The 55th Congress of the ISAE, that's Animal Behavior and Beyond, will be holding in North Macedonia between September 4 and September 9, 2022. And I will especially want to thank some people for joining us. Peter Taylor, thank you for joining us. I know it will be late evening in Australia. Peter Taylor is from University of New England, Australia. We also want to thank Sonia Rodriguez for joining us. I think Sahid is also with us. Sahid, are you there? Let me look for him. Sahid Sabiet, I think he has left. I can't see Sahid again. So it's okay. I would love to unmute everyone now. If you have something to say, just say it. So you can unmute yourself. Dr. Ibanji, unmute yourself. Dr. Weto, are you there? Dr. Weto, you want to say something?
Yes, I want to appreciate. Hello.
Hello, we can hear you. We can hear you.
Okay, good. Yeah, I want to sincerely appreciate the presenter for that wonderful presentation. In fact, I really enjoy the presentation because I work with that breed also, and I really enjoy when they start making that sound, though I don't always pay attention to that, but I really enjoy the sound. And so it's a wonderful work, and I want to also suggest that the work be published as soon as possible. So I want to thank the presenter and everybody on this on the Zoom meeting. Thank you. God bless you all.
Thank you, Dr. Weto. Miriam Logunleko, do you want to say anything? Miriam, please unmute yourself. Miriam.
I just want to greet the presenter by saying "Kukuru."
That is very interesting. Dr. Yebanji, I know you are from environmental management and toxicology, and presently we are preaching One Health. What do you want to say about this presentation, and how do you want to bring in environment into this presentation? Dr. Yebanji, over to you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Oluwaseun, and our mother N, Dr. Oluwaseun. In fact, I really enjoyed myself. I know that you cannot delete environment in whatever the crowing, the alarm call, everything you are doing is in the environment. And since we have said that, Dr. Mrs. said maybe she will look at the crowing in relation to animal welfare, and maybe we can get a form of collaboration from there. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Dr. Dele Peteru, are you there? Can you say something?
Yeah, thank you very much. Dr. Iyasere does a good presentation.
Thank you.
And I'm expecting a replica with the ruminants.
Oh my goodness.
So I'm expecting some things on cattle vocalization.
Why not goats? To Victor, please, can you please unmute yourself if you are there and say something? Victor? Okay, Victor, we can hear you.
Okay, wonderful presentation, Dr. Iyasere. Thanks for the presentation. Like we said, there's a lot to be done on the vocalization, so we can't wait to get back and get something out of this.
So thank you very much. Obafemi Akinjute, do you want to say something?
Yes.
Femi, are you there? Okay, I think his network is not too good. Gideon Ajibola, before we end the meeting, do you want to say something? Okay, thank you very much, everybody.
Safian in our midst, maybe he wants to say something.
Okay. Who?
Abdurrahman Safian. He's joining from Ghana.
Safian, I'm trying to look for.
Safian.
Abdurrahman, can you please unmute yourself?
I have.
Good. Sorry.
Thank you very much, Doctor.
You're welcome.
And then, yes. I don't know what to really say. I wouldn't say much, only to appreciate your efforts and to be part of this generation of animal welfare people.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Right, you're welcome. Okay.
So that will be the end of the meeting. And I promise you that if you did not get the vocalizations very well, Dr. Iyasere will send it to all the participants. We would love to have you in our subsequent presentations. Thank you very much. Please, you can put on your video so that we can have a group photograph.
Somebody is raising up hand.
Okay, Adekunle, sorry. Adekunle, please unmute yourself.
Yeah. Hello.
Hello, we can hear you very well.
Yeah. So thank you for that wonderful presentation. You see, that is a beauty of research. I never thought of somebody looking into crowing, how it affects dominance, and how it affects is a very lovely aspect you have delved into. And I want to encourage you to go more into it. It's good for us to know more about all these things that researchers don't look into. I want to say kudos to you.
Thank you.
More grace, more power to all. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so. Do we have another person that wants to say something before we end the meeting? It's an interesting presentation. I'm so excited. Okay. We would love to thank everybody for joining us, and we would love you to also join us in our subsequent meetings. Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Bye-bye. Thank you. Can stop
Bye.
recording. Yeah. You can stop recording, Dr.
Yeah.
So thank you everybody for joining today's meeting.